like you said, they had, I think at one point they had going in the half, they had 240 something, I believe. And we had four total yards. So that's regardless of how we feel, regardless of, all of that, we got it handed to us.
Real talk. The Bears got blown out by the 49ers yesterday, 38-13. Shay, what's your biggest takeaway from the game? Is it more how good the Niners looked or just how awful the Bears did?
The Bears were really bad. I don't understand how they did, and they did the same thing against the Lions. They start out very poorly, and then they get it going, and they show resemblance of a team, especially offensively, that can be really good. But I don't understand these slow starts. We know the 49ers can be good. The injuries is that they're on their third string running back, their third receiver. Purdy missed the game. J-Dub was out again. It's just hard to win when you constantly having to put the next man up. But the Bears, they got to get this thing figured out.
Absolutely. Another quick take for you guys. The Steelers secured the bag without George Pickens yesterday, putting up 27 points, 3 touchdowns versus the Browns defense. Woody, is this Steelers offense a force to be reckoned with?
Listen, I think this Steelers team is good enough to win the AFC. Okay. I really do. And I think a lot of people owe Russell Wilson an apology.
You're right.
A lot of people, including myself, I question whether Russell Wilson will be able to come in and do the things that he's doing right now. Russell Wilson looks really good. Now, make no mistake about it, he's playing really good football, and you combine that with the way they're playing defense, okay, special teams, run the football. This Steelers team can beat any team in the AFC.
Yeah.
I
Shay?
agree with you. I did not see this play coming from Russell.
Yeah, absolutely. All of us question if he could still be a starter.
They're going to get very tough here now. They're 10-3. But if you look at their next 3 games, they're all obviously very tough, and they come in a very compressed 10-day stretch, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs. So we'll wait and see how they wind up turning out. But I need to say something because I spent this entire offseason, and Dan, you were much more right on this than I was in your projection. I spent this whole offseason basically saying Russell Wilson's career is over, he's done, he's walked. What was some variation on that theme? And I just have to acknowledge that I was dead wrong. Russell Wilson's playing great.
He's at 64%, and at 15 yards or more, 61% completion rate. That leads the National Football League.
Yeah.
So this is the old Russ that we saw about the guy that can, cook it down the field, and he's still doing it. And to me, I mean, Mike Tomlin was right. He knew this was coming, and good for Russell Wilson to turn back the page.
How dangerous do you think the Steelers are in the AFC?
It can beat anybody. Literally. I said, you've heard me say, I've said
it last week. Yep.
I've said it for a couple weeks now. The Steelers could absolutely win the AFC.
Yep.
Because Russell Wilson, the play they're getting at the quarterback position, combine that with their defense and the way their commitment to the run game, they could absolutely do it.
By the way, Mike Tomlin has never won Coach of the Year in the NFL. That could change this season. Next, as we run the hurry up, D Wood, you're next.
Last week, Kirk Cousins, if I just brought up his name to you and I said, what is he as a quarterback? What's he notorious for? What would you say?
Making a lot of money?
No. Oh. Play-wise, play style-wise. What does he love to run?
Play action.
He's got zero play-action passing touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
He's got like 63 play-action pass attempts. He averages about 150. So there is a part of me, no question, that sits there and goes, Kirk is not playing well. He is not comfortable in the pocket. He will not move. So the counter to that is, well, then why is he playing? I also would sit there and go, why aren't they running a ton of play action? Why aren't they running more screens? Why does it take so long for Drake London to get the ball early? Why can't Bijan protect in pass protecting situations? Why does everybody take it? So there's a lot that's going on right now.
And it shows me that the coordinator's not comfortable. And to me, this is a guy that's more comfortable in a system than playing to the strength of his player. And I've never seen Kirk Cousins, to your point,
so uncomfortable.
And the way I see it, how many times have you seen him double clutch?
Yes.
That doesn't happen. That's not the guy that I know.
Well, yesterday, in his return to Minnesota, he was dramatically outplayed by the man who has replaced him, and that is Sam Darnold, who threw 5 touchdowns. So I'm the one who keeps bringing up the point differential, and yet at the same time, they just win. I mean, Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. Well, Bill, I hope that you're watching this morning down there in Florida. They're 12-1, D. Wood. I mean, I know we can find a million flaws, but 12-1 is 12-1.
You don't fluke into 12-1. You don't. It's really as simple as championship DNA. That's the only way to really describe the Kansas City Chiefs right now. We can talk about
Chiefs won't three-peat, and why the Chiefs will three-peat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could sit there and we know their flaws. We know what their issues are, and they showed up again yesterday. They can't be explosive. No. Their offensive line protection's not great. No. So you sit and they give up explosive. They get creased in the run game. So you sit there and go, someone's going to beat them because of that. And then you go, no one's going to beat them because of how the game ended. Because Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and I'll tell everybody right now, in the AFC playoffs, if you have a coach that gives the ball back to Mahomes late in the football game with a chance to win, no doubt. I don't care. That's aggressive, but you cannot do it. You know what the ending is. He's the Grim Reaper, okay? You saw it with the throw to Worthy. You saw it with the scramble. You saw it with the play to Travis Kelce. I do think we have not given enough respect to their schedule, okay? They played two bad teams this year, the whole year. The Raiders and the Saints. I mean, they beat the Ravens. They beat the Bengals week 2 when
they played Carolina.
But is that Carolina?
They're playing a little better now.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Carolina
they almost beat Philly
Carolina
yesterday.
just should have beat the team that some people are thinking is at worst the second or third best team in football.
Sure.
They played the Bills. They played the Broncos. They played the Bucks. They played the 49ers when they were healthy. They played the Chargers twice. They played the Ravens. I mean, they have beaten a lot of good football teams. This has not been a schedule that they've played a lot of bad football teams. The Raiders and the Saints are by far the worst teams that they have played when you come to are they good or not.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit to your 11th differential point total, Greeny. They haven't played some of the teams cupcake-wise that other teams have gotten fortunate enough to play.
Fair. And the combination of their win yesterday and Buffalo's loss, which we showed you earlier, and we're going to get back to that, and Josh Allen had one of the great days of all time and everything else. We'll have more time for that in this hour. That combination leaves it a near certainty. You see the odds there on the screen, 77% chance that the road to the Super Bowl is going through the AFC. So you tell me right now, Rex, I know that you don't like to. You and money are good friends.
Yes.
You don't like when you and money go in separate ways.
No.
If you had to bet a few of those bucks of yours on the team that's going to come out of the AFC right now, which one would it be?
I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills.
They're going in there and beating them this time.
Yes, and look, because I think it catches up to them. At some point, it catches up to Kansas City, and we've said it because you're right, Dan. Your point about we saw why we don't have confidence that this team can win it again.
Correct.
And we see things. Why? We got Patrick Mahomes. That's
Correct.
The biggest reason. However, we've said that for 5 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. And when you don't, the Bills have knocked people out. The Bills are scoring over 30 points a game. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to think about that. And I just think they're a better football team. I get it. They had a tough one yesterday, a tough loss. I'm still put my money on the Bills.
Just to remind everyone, last year Kansas City went into the playoffs as the 3 seed in the AFC. Mm-hmm. Baltimore looked like definitively the best team in the AFC at the end of the year, went in there and lost. Buffalo was red hot down the stretch, and Kansas City went into Buffalo and beat them to get to Baltimore in the first place. So they will have a route this year we would expect that they didn't have a year ago. Right now, you're picking one team to come out of the AFC. Who is it?
Chiefs. I've gone back and forth over this thing, but at the end of the day, you got to go now.
I want the Bills to get there. I'll be picking the Chiefs.
It's awfully hard to pick against them. I mean, I just don't know how you pick against them. All they do is win. Now let's hand out some Sunday superlatives as we look around some of the other action in the league yesterday. Rex, what was the biggest surprise to you?
Well,